Hey, cocksuckers, and you better come prepared because they don't fuck around on Monday. Monday, most people come in. I had such a great weekend. Oh my God, go fuck yourself. That was then. This is now, bitch. It's a whole new set of rules. It's Monday. If you ain't waking up with a taste of blood in your fucking mouth like a shark 5 feet from the shore, you fucked up. You understand? Because Monday is when you go. Everybody else is like, still the weekend. You fucking go.
Hey, yo, I don't know. Happy Monday, everybody. I don't know if y'all pay attention to what he's saying on the intro. The shit, man, funny. I never stop. I laugh every time niggas say, "Oh, it's a nice good weekend. Go fuck yourself."
See, and you see, and you know what the problem?
For no reason.
Yo, T, New York King. You know what the problem with that is? I'm in the Bronx right now at my mom's house. She's sitting
Right.
over there. She fascinated about all this. As soon as you hear the intro, I
know
didn't even break it.
your mother like, well, how can this show be positive? With that intro, who are you uplifting? You curse them out before you say hello. Anyway, welcome to Motivation Monday. Shout out to Sean Harvey, Miss Harvey, Ma Dukes Harvey is in the building checking the show out on this special Monday. Now, this is a special Monday. Apologies for the lateness, technical difficulties, but we're in full effect. Lord Amir's right there, A-Rock Silly. Sean Harvey from the Sean Harvey Morning Show's right there. I'm your boy Talent. And this show, I'm going to say up front, is dedicated to the women. First and foremost, we apologize for playing a rerun last Monday. Lots of people had stuff to do. Amir was handling family business, which worked out okay. Praise God. Sean Harvey was getting a vasectomy for his dog. His Labrador Doodle. God bless, that worked out as well.
Yeah.
And I got puppies to look after, so the puppies are going to find. I know people want to know. This weekend makes 6 weeks, and the first puppies start to leave the nest. They start to leave the nest this week. First one to go is the only boy. He's going to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I got a owner in the family in Harrisburg that's taking the trip up Saturday morning, pick him up. I don't know his name yet, but God bless the puppy. All right. How was everybody's weekend? First and foremost, I had a decent weekend. God was real good this weekend. We had fun. We worked. We did a pop-up show in Brooklyn at Ray DeJean 275 Park, Laughaholics, which turned out dope as hell. Tony Wood stopped by for bless the stage. Julio Diaz. I mean, it was just it was a love fest of comedy in there. We had a great time. Truth Lounge on Thursday was bananas. So the whole weekend was great. And then Sunday, as y'all can see yesterday, my New York Knicks came through, even with the banged up knee on my man Brunson, who's the MVP of the season. We here, baby. Sitting in that 4th seed, kind of pretty up there. Sean, how was your weekend, bro?
Yo, first of all, shout out to everyone. Yo, A-Rock Silly, good to see you, brother. It was the same situation, identical to what you went through this weekend, New York King. You was in Brooklyn. I was in Harlem at the same time doing my comedy show at Comedy in Harlem. And here's the thing about it that I really love about this. It's the place. First of all, shout out to everyone who came out. The place was absolutely sold out. It was a dope look. It was a great look. But more importantly for me was the fact that just seeing the Black Dollar work in real time.
Right.
We didn't go to none of the comedy clubs down in Midtown. The money went, it went into Jamie's location. It came out of Jamie's location. Black folks economically in real time spending their money was one of the most gratifying situations for me that particular night, to see the Black Dollar circulate within itself, because you very, very rarely see. So
Right.
even people that was downstairs ordering food at the Lighthouse, that was also owned by a Black person. It was just a great feeling that I celebrated my birthday, and it was done in a Black-owned establishment, and Black folks was spending that dollar around like a 360. And that definitely made my whole weekend. And real quick, to the Knicks, when Brunson went down yesterday, I almost threw up. I literally almost threw up. And for the Knicks to step up and whip that ass the way they did, and now to find out that he just only had a bruise and he'll be back in a few days, was also a tremendous part of my weekend. And one more thing, King, when you talked about, when we just applaud you about the dog and the families that's coming from Harrisburg, A-Rock Silly, dogs change people's lives, man.
Say it
This is
again.
the dogs change people's lives. For folks to come all the way to Harrisburg to pick up that dog and that dog to go home to a family is just going to be a tremendous experience for that family, whether if they had dogs or not, because I know my dog changed my life. So shout out to those folks from Harrisburg. Thank you so much for letting me talk. It's all good.
Amir,
Man,
tell everybody the craziest things you did this weekend. You just got that look on your face like you did some
so
crazy.
it was no, it was Friday was a quiet one, kind of, sort of. I stayed home, and what made Friday dope was I did something that I hadn't done in a while, which was watch one of my favorite all-time comedy movies, which is Let's Do It Again.
Yeah.
And I watched it for the first time in a while as an adult, and take certain parts of it and think about how thoughtful Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier were to put together that whole idea and concept and
Right.
what it really turned into. And then the amount of star power that's actually in that movie as far as the other counterparts. James Evans, I'm calling him that for lack of knowing his real name at the moment. Jimmy Walker, Calvin Lockhart, who was, ended up being Biggie Smalls. It was just, it was Jane Kennedy. George Foreman's in there as a young person, but it was just really watching it now as an adult. It just had such a different feel and meaning to me. So that was Friday, and that was dope. Saturday, as you said, you came to Brooklyn and hit me up, and I said, I stopped through. Show was incredible. I hope that the young man Sean is doing all right. That was hilarious. We get what's called is dead wrong for that. But that was hilarious. And then, as you said, two things with Sunday. Sunday, like you said, we had that phenomenal win for the Knicks, and I was like, Sean, when I saw Brunson go down, I was like, oh damn, we in trouble now.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Let's talk about that for 1 second. When he went down, see, my faith, and I'd be so positive, I don't really, like as a young man, he was all paranoid and everything. I would gasp for air and all that. But as an older dude, my faith go first, right? So the first initial fall, I ain't think nothing of it. It wasn't until the replay when they showed how he tried, because we missed that in real time. In real time, you see him come down and fall down, and the next thing when the camera hit him, they were trying to help him up, whatever. He's doing this. But when you've seen the replay and you've seen the initial fall, the initial try to get up and buckle back down, that's when I said, what? Because it's one thing to get hurt and get knocked down. When you get up and whatever part buckles, that's when the concern kicks in. My eyebrows went up, but it was too late. I had just dropped a load of bet on it. And I mean, literally, because if you go to the stats, he's logged in for only 1 minute of play.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
So I was like, the dude looked at me who bet me, was like, oh. I was like, I ain't worried about it, bro. We deep. Like, one thing I've learned about this Knicks team is not to compare them to the other Knicks teams. They are their own identity. They earned that. And on top of it, they've shown us time and time again how tough they are, how resilient they are, and how deep the bench is. Like, we literally had 5 important guys injured at the same time and played a whole nother 5 and won. And won.
Yeah.
So hats off to the Knicks. Keep winning, baby. Listen, ain't no way to go but up from here. I want to dive right in this episode. This episode directly pointed and aimed at the women. I'm getting in y'all asses. Pause. No pun intended.
Word up.
Directly at the women, because here's the thing. Name of this episode is Men. Words matter and men have feelings too. We're human. And I thought to bring this up to women because there's an epidemic of belief on most women's part that we're not like them emotionally. We're not like them with feelings. We're not as human as them. Like, we're just built for it tough. and whatever, walk, whatever, nigga, get over it. Then on top of those rules, you stack the deck with another rule like, and you can't hit me. You can't hit a woman. I'm here to tell you, ladies, you can't have it both ways. So I'm going to take a page out of my ladies' book as of recent, because the same way there's no monopoly on fighting for rights, there's no monopoly on being human, there's no monopoly on feelings, and there's no monopoly on words. Words matter. And I'm tired of women, because they do it a lot. My whole life, 5 sisters, all this. Again, the way they look at us, Sean, in the mirror, they look at us like they could say almost anything to us. And in time, you need to get over that. And let's move on. Knowing damn well, if the shoe is on the other foot, ain't happening.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing wrong with a woman. Fast forward, get in an argument about something totally different, and that shit don't come back in that argument.
Yeah.
So I'm flipping the slipper on the other foot and saying, ladies, we need y'all to look at us and respect us the same way. You need to know that we are human too, that words matter, and that we have feelings as well. Now, you might say to yourself, well, slow down, talent. How the hell you get here? And I'm gonna tell you, this is when I had this epiphany. So, as y'all know, last week I took my my oldest son, Talent, to a Knick game. Last Monday's game against Detroit. At home, great seats. I wanted him to have the experience, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought about when I woke up the next day as a father with multiple kids, I said, you know what? I'm on there happy posting pictures. And it ain't till after the third post, I go, whoa. I reel it in like, Negro. All your other kids are going to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to get to the ball. I called my oldest daughter. She would be the main one. She's Instagram heavy. So I call her. I was like, hey, man, you know, on some random story. What's up with you? You know, I said, just thinking about you, man. Me and Talent went to the game last night. Had a good time. But, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's I said, yeah, you know, I ain't spoke to you. I've been running. I said, let me know, man. Let's go out and get some drink. I said, let's do lunch, dinner, or we could get drinks, you know, being after her father's heart. The big opted for the drinks. So we go to my bar. She said, Dad, I can only drink with you. What time you gonna get? I said 7. So I give you a couple of hours because I could get home and get my kid ready for school and all that. No problem. I don't want you to be out late either, right? So we're drinking, having a daddy-daughter drink. And then conversing and talking, and my boy Rick there and other people. I'm introducing some of the regular players at the bar. And talking, I'm filling in a lot of holes because people that don't know, to give you some backdrop on this oldest daughter, she was brought to me, or I should say to my attention, about 11, 12 years old. So from the beginning, when I thought she was my daughter, when the mom got pregnant, the mom broke up with me to get back with the ex-dude. A couple of weeks later, I found out she's pregnant. I'm like, yo, is that my kid? It's, nah, nigga, fuck out of here. This is Mike's kid. I know whose it is. Da, da, da. So I got no choice but to fall back. 12 years later, Mike done with your dirty ass. All of a sudden, she look like Talent. Because you want a bag. You made the decision early on to act like it was his daughter because he had the bag. I'm a young dude aspiring. I ain't doing that yet. Fast forward 10, 12 years when he's done with you and you see this face on TV, you hear his voice on the radio, you see the calendar and the flyers and you want another bag. So now you think she looks like me. So it's delivered to me that late, right? Just to give you backstory. When she took me to court, she was saying that I'm taking you to court because I just want her to know this little girl needs to know her real story, her real father. And you know what? I'm like, you know what? You're right. Get to court, Sean. Oh, that shit went out the window. Ma'am, you want some support? Hell yeah. I said, oh shit, this bitch went the bag, right?
Wow. Yes.
That's the beginning. So for 25 of those years, you relentlessly, let's take an evil person to keep up this work. You're relentlessly dragging me in and out of these courts, trying to get more and more and more and more because you see me doing more and more and more and more. You translate that to dollars for you, right? Mm-hmm. Praise God, thank God for the judge. Whoever the judge was would not let it go down that way and was dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making sure everything got done right. Now, I say all that to say this. I'm so disgusted with how this lady did this that I don't speak to her. You know, we ain't spoken 27, 30 years, whatever it is. We don't spoke. You know, we don't speak. So right after my little nice night with my daughter, the next day I go to the barbershop, checking my inboxes and messages. Who pops up in the inbox but her mother saying some goofy ass shit like, oh, I spoke to Micaiah. She said she had a great time. I had drinks last night. I could hear her smiling through the phone. This is real good. I'm glad I got time to spend together and blah, blah, blah. And this is good for her. I wanted to throw my fucking phone. Excuse me, Ma Harvey. I wanted to throw my phone across the barbershop and smash it. If this phone didn't cost $1,000,
Right.
I kid you not, I'll probably broke it because I'm like, what kind of lunacy? I'm glad you're spending time. I could have been spending time 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So now, Sean and Amir, I'm in this barbershop. Just read this. Heavyweight on the shoulders. How do I handle this, right? So my immediate emotional self goes to the blaster, you know. But I'm just staring at it because I got to approve it first because she's blocked. It's not message not just coming through. So I'm looking at it. And the best thing to do is, you know, as comedians, we know this, talk it out, put it out in the universe. So I start speaking to my homies in the thing, getting some advice. So I had a dude in there, my barber's in there. He feel like I feel. But then I had a dude I went to school with come with the super rational, you know, angle. Was like, no, T, you need to be like this. You know, y'all ain't got to be friends, but da-da-da-da, because the kids. And I'm looking at him like, you know what, bro? I ain't going to push you out. I hear you. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to revisit that. Thank you. I leave the shop. I start calling mad people to give the backstory and get the opinion. Then I say, you know what? Who better to call about a baby mother than another baby mother?
Right.
So I called Tyler's mother. And sometimes you forget how much information the other person knows because it's been so long. She went so deep into no, screw her, fuck her, blah, 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 block her, blah, 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 because what she did to you, and started going down, itemizing so much to me, some of the stuff I kind of forgot, like, yeah, she did do that, right? So all that day, weighing everybody and all the options, I just opted to, block her again, double block her, because I was going to do this something simple like this. But I told her last time, me and you don't speak. There's no reason for us to speak. What you did to me, I can never recoup or forget. You know what I'm saying? All I can do is move on. You stay in your circle, I stay in my circle. My daughter's a grown woman now. She'll be 33 this year. I don't need to speak to you. But I found it funny what made me bring this topic up is because I said it's a typical reoccurrence of my life, like where women do something to you and fast forward get to a point where they feel like you should be over that.
Yeah.
She really thought that I'm hitting you now. We should be able to talk.
You know what, and let me just go first because I know Amir's gonna close out really dope. It's mental gymnastics. It's almost molesting the mind sometimes with women with the mind games. I give you one in reverse. I was with a young woman. We was dating. I was dating some other chick. I got busted in the relationship. I said to the woman, all right, I'm busted. Shit done hit the fan, but I choose you. So I promise you that I would never cheat on you. I'll change my life. I'll do the things that I need to do to make this right.
Right.
4 years down the road, it was still, remember when you had sex with that chick? Remember when you did that? Remember when you did this? Remember? And then it got to a breaking point with me where I was like, yo, whoa. First of all, you're not going to put me in a position to where I'm going to feel bad about myself. And I ended the relationship because this woman couldn't get out the past when I was asking her for forgiveness. Now, whether the way she reacts to it is one thing, but I'm saying to you, the only thing I could do is try to change my ways, and I won't do it again. But if you're going to sit here and constantly remind me of something that I did 4 and 5 years ago, this is never going to work. So on the flip side of what you went through, it's women will hold something in the bag. They will bring it out to either make you feel bad or remember that or remind you that you're a piece of shit. And these are those obstacles that we as men, you're right, we get emotional.
Yeah.
Words hurt. And you're
Yeah.
right. And we can't put our hands on you. Because I knew if I put my hands on it, it was going to be a wrap.
I tell them all the time, I hit a girl.
So,
I hit a girl.
so it works in reverse. In your situation, you don't even speak to each other. And then all of a sudden she felt, because it's also a need of control. So all of a sudden you feel like you can just talk to me now with no repercussion. Or the flip side is you can still remind me that I'm a piece of shit for the rest of my life.
It's not going to happen. First of all, you're the villain. In my story, you're the villain. You're the bad guy.
Yeah.
How is it that, and thank God that I did what I did and had those drinks for my daughter, because in just regular conversation, not that we was there for that. I was really there, but I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on in your life? Thank you. And she told me about a new boyfriend and what my grandson going through and all that stuff. That's really what it was about. But in talking and certain topical stuff, I started to plug a lot of holes from it.
Yeah.
Which totally not on my mind. The last thing I'm thinking is your mother told you a bunch of stuff that wasn't true or whatever. Last thing I'm thinking. But in talking, I have found myself several times go, oh no, that's not how that works. That's not how the original timeline that went. Blah, 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 blah. Right? I seen an interesting meme, and it's ironic. I don't know how they do this shit. I think God got something to do with social media. What do they call it? Algorithms.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm in this feeling of what I just told y'all of the story that happened. In less than 24 hours, this meme comes up. I click on it. It's right from my inbox. I click on it, and it was very interesting. I don't know these people. You don't know me, but the video is the mother's trying to teach the younger daughter. The daughter's probably the age of my daughter, like 30. And her mother's probably like 55, right? So you hear the mother go, I'm going to show you something. Go get that cup. Go in the bathroom, grab the toothpaste and the other thing, right? So she's like, okay. The girl's like this, like, where we going with this? And she's like, squeeze all that out of that tube into that cup. Okay, get the other one. Squeeze all that out of that tube and the cup. And the girl's like, and she was like, okay, now I need you to put all that back in the tube. And the girl goes, I can't put that back in the tube. She said, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, young bitch. The words can't go back. Watch what you're saying to this man and what's coming out of your mouth, because you can't put it back. He can't unhear it.
Yeah.
So you're going to say something. You better be damn well ready to stand on it, to double and triple down on it. And more importantly, to have faith and believe in what you're saying, because you can't, oh, I was just mad. How many times we've been through that, guys? We're men. How many times, oh, I was just mad. I was just saying this and that, blah, blah, blah. Amir, come on, man.
You know what's so crazy? First off, both things that you gave are incredibly impactful and are great, because it really does describe what we go through. But let's delve a little bit deeper. First and foremost, let's look at your example, T. And I'm finding, to your point, and especially once you have an opportunity to converse with your child or converse in general about a situation, you find that the real hidden gems aren't in the lack of communication between you and said person. The real hidden gems are in the development of said person, meaning the relationships that they've had with dad, the relationship they had with their uncles, or so forth and so on.
Right.
And because those weren't good, or even somebody who they might have dated prior to you that didn't work out the way that they anticipated, you're paying for it. So I'm paying for something that had nothing to do with me. I wasn't there. I didn't even know you then. I wasn't a part of how or whatever went down, but yet I'm paying for said crime from John for no reason. That's one of the things that we're faced with. To the point that Sean made, you have the whole ideology of, one, first and foremost, women in general, not everyone, but in general, are never wrong. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. I don't care how they go about it.
Yes.
I'm not wrong. And here's the thing that's interesting about that. They could be dead wrong. I'm not talking about a little bit wrong. I'm talking about so wrong that Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and every other person you think has eye problems can see. That's how wrong it is. But you will not, for whatever reason, admit that. The greatest thing that I saw, and this goes to again to both something that y'all said, and this is what bothers me. The fact that, generally speaking, some women have weaponized children, and that's what's happened. They weaponize it. Because to me, if you threaten a man with going to court and all this stuff, then you've made our child a weapon. And no child should be made a weapon. I don't care what the circumstance is. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like my mother. I don't care if you don't like my brothers and sisters. That should not happen. But the reason why I'm saying what they do is weaponize these children is because when you think about it, whether it's child support or whatever the case may be, the reality of it all is this. As an adult, if we have a child, there is going to be the possibility that this child is going to need things. Now, I always give the most extreme example because this, to me, explains how wild this is. Let's just say either of us have a child, and unfortunately, the baby's born, and we get killed and or die a day later. Aren't you still gonna have to support that baby? Aren't you still gonna have to take care of that baby? So please stop beating me in the head with the, well, I'm going to help. I'm going to do everything I can to be helpful. But what I need you to do is do your part and just know that this was a situation that we both agreed on. And because of that agreement, whatever comes along with it comes along with it. Now, the reason why I bring that into the equation is because I saw two things that really blew my mind. First, there was a video I saw with a gentleman who's brought that up specifically. He said, I don't understand this whole taking people to court for child support. He said, you're going to have to take care of the kid no matter what. You decide to have a kid. If you get fat, do you not have to get clothes for being fat now? If you slim down, you got to get clothes for being slim. That doesn't become my responsibility because you decide to let your weight go up and down. That's your responsibility because you're an adult or supposed to be. That's one. The second thing I saw, and this was crazy because somebody sent this to me, and I started using this stuff because to a point that y'all made when y'all started this whole thing about pets. I saw a video that somebody sent me with lions, and there was these two baby cubs that were getting ready to be trampled by an ox. So they show this father lion see these two babies about to get trampled, and he runs off and he tracks down the ox or whatever, and he lets the kids, make it out of the situation. The wild thing is the mom decides whether or not old boy is good for the kids by the kids then going and maybe playing with the lion, and then he turns around to see if he likes it. These ain't his kids. These was just some kids that happened to be caught up in the situation. He was out on the, on the thing like, yeah, I'm not gonna let you bully these kids. And I think to the point that both of y'all are making, or the point that we're making, that's the problem. There is not a level of appreciation. There's not a level of thankfulness. There's not a level of, oh my God, this man sacrifices as much as I do, and maybe sometimes differently or harder because of the different challenges that he has. And this is, again, not to say that women don't have challenges, because they do. But you can't think to yourself that because your challenge in the moment seems to be the worst thing for you, that you get to be abusive, you get to be unapologetic, you get to say anything you want, and you get to think and believe that we don't somewhere in there have a feeling or have a say about it, because we do.
But that's why I said there's no monopoly on the joint, bro.
We gotta change that. We gotta change that now.
But I'm sticking up for dudes now, because here's the thing. We've had black people been protesting and civil rights, and And then just in the thick of things, here come the gay rights, and then here come the Asian rights, and then here come the anti-Semitic rights, and then here come the woman rights, and here come the okay. So now to match your woman right, I see your woman rights, I respect it, and I raise you some man rights. Because guess what? Men are human too.
Yeah.
God intentionally made two genders. He put forth the female and the male. And how dare you think
Yeah.
that one thing apply to you and not the other? The same way you think you got the same education as me, and you should make what I'm making. The same way I should get the same respect you're requiring. And by no means are you going to shut me down with all these regulations. And it's the same to top it off with the icing on the cake or the sprinkles, and you can't hit me, bitch. I'm knocking you out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm knocking you out because you're treating me like a dude on dude. So don't turn around and say I need to treat you like a woman because you're not respecting me like a woman. The same way someone said, it's ironic how, because we've all been there, every man will tell you he's never done no wrong that has not been regurgitated and brought back up down with stuff that has nothing to do with that thing. Like, you could, like Sean said, you could have had an extramarital situation or a side chick get busted, and then you can get an argument in the supermarket over eggs, or you forgot something off the list, and here come this extramarital affair. What that got to do with I got margarine instead of butter by not paying attention?
And New York King, and first of all, Rock Silly, I gotta applaud you because you touched my heart. Pause when you were sharing. That's exactly what happened to me. I was reminded every day of the infidelity back in the day. I went to an award show, a Rock Silly. I brought the young lady, the girlfriend, with me. It was one of those suit and tie, cummerbund, wear the gown situation with the server, the drinks, the food, the MC, the whole thing. A gala. It was a great night. We went out. We had a good time. Came back home just to go back upstairs and chill, talk. Everything was good. Get in the parking lot. And this young lady said to me, remember when you had sex with that chick back in the day? You remember when you did that? That was the final straw. Amir Silly, you are absolutely right. I've been in 79,000 relationships. Every woman I've been with, none of them have been wrong about anything. When you said that, it touched my heart because you're right. Women are not wrong about nothing. They know it all. Yes. Does it come from, is it a generational situation? It probably is. And you're right. And you're also right about the way you was raised, how your parents or people around you have impacted the way that you think. We ain't even gonna talk about how men ain't shit when you're coming into the relationship because you already got us your mind's already premeditated that we're a piece of shit anyway. And New York King, you're right. It sounds funny, but it's some real shit. Men's rights. We have to, yes, men, we have rights as well. Men, we need to step up and we need to share the way we feel. And we do have feelings. And this is exactly what it is. It is a form of mental gymnastics, like I said, and the molestation of the mind, the manipulation game that women have against men. That is almost, to me, it's like a degree. It's almost something mandatory for a woman to have as far as ammunition to try to break down a man. Yeah, you want equal rights? You're absolutely right. If we're going to do equal rights across the board, then we got to do it all the way across the board. Thank you so much for both of your sharing, because this is real.
This is why this was so important about that meme I mentioned, because what's happening is this generation, and from my experience, Sean, you mentioned generation. And my experience is not, because I was fortunate enough to grow up knowing my my grandparents, and my parents, and they didn't move like this. But the disconnect is because the playbook has changed. That's what I loved about that meme, because this was a mother talking to a young adult daughter, explaining to her what she was doing wrong in her relationship and why she was having problems with this guy. Now, that was the traditional way when we were growing up, how people got their playbooks and their information and advice on how to navigate through these situations. The new playbook is social media. The
Yes.
new playbook is social media. And you know it's the same playbook because they're all saying the same shit. I
Yes.
remember when I was a young man from 20 to 30, let's say at 20 to 30, I had dated 12 women.
Yeah.
Whatever the problem was, if there was any with any of these 12 women, I could see the difference in each argument. This one felt like this. She had a reason to feel like this because this happened. This one looked at it this way because this happened. But it made sense and it added up, in other words. And there were individual playbooks that made sense to me. So I would have to go, you got me. Yeah, I fucked that up. I shouldn't have did that. Da, da, da. But today, it's one playbook and it's monotonous and it's fucking obnoxious and it gets on your nerve because you keep hearing the same little stupid shit. Bitch, I know you got this shit off of Love and Hip Hop. I know you got this shit off of Lifetime. This shit came up in my feed and my algorithm, so I know where you got this shit from. If I hear this one more time, I thought you would fight for us. Why do I have to fight?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Where you get that from? Why do a man have to fight? I shouldn't have to fight.
Yeah.
We
Not
should
only
get together, work it out together, keep going. There's no fight.
Yeah.
not only that, T,
Yeah.
besides the not fighting, there is just the also ultimate. Guess what? It's okay for either side to decide this isn't for me. This really isn't for me. But it's most certainly okay for us as men because, again, to be fair, our daily practices are get up. First and foremost, think about ourselves, what we got to do to get into our day. If you have a significant other, and that could be wife, girlfriend, whoever, whatever, it stems to them. Okay, let me think about all the stuff that she got on her plate, things that she got to do. How can I help get some of that stuff off her plate or help her with whatever's on her plate? If you have parents, be they up in age, whatever, that's on your mind. If you got kids, you got to set aside some time to figure that out. You
Right.
got grandkids. I've already named about 5 or 6 things that you got to really immerse yourself in and play chess. Because to Talent's point, if you have several children or whatever, the pieces on the board are gonna move, but they're gonna move with a sense of, well, I saw you move that over there, but then over here you didn't pay any attention to this. When that's not the case at all. I had to take that piece off the board because that was an immediate situation that I needed to address. You, on the other hand, I can take a little bit more time because 2 things. First, I'm hoping that you're doing a little bit better with your life and you got yourself a little more together. And then secondly, you're an adult now. And see, one of the things that we have a tough time doing, and Sean, you just alluded to this, and T, you've been alluding to this with this whole thing, is telling people, no, I don't care if you don't like it. I'm not, look, you can be mad all you want. I feel some kind of way because you don't want to. I don't want to. It ain't personal. Don't make it personal. Don't take it personal. I got other things that I need to work out and or work on. Now, I'm going to ask you, are you okay with that? And if you say no, okay, I still got to do what I got to do because my getting things done trumps all the stuff that you need to get things done because I know what's going to happen. The first time you can't resolve stuff, guess who you're going to call? Guess who you're going to turn to?
Mm-hmm.
So now what am I supposed to do? Because now I got the problems that I had, and now I got your problems too. That's a lot of problems. But nobody wants to really have. I always say this. One of the things that really bothers me now is at this stage of our lives, it's not lack of communication because people say it's lack. It's not that. It's the mere fact that people don't understand and then comprehend. Because you could tell somebody plain as day, hey, look, no, I can't do that. And tell them why. But I don't like the fact that what part of I can't do it because of these things are you not getting? I didn't tell you, I didn't say I couldn't do it and then explain why in Chinese and you don't speak Chinese. I explained it to you in English. And in English, this is what the situation is. Like
You're missing the
we
point,
got so
Amir.
much,
Get
man.
over it. She said, get over it.
Thank you. And then
Right.
the last point I want to make is y'all are absolutely right. I hate the bring back up syndrome. I'm gonna say that one more time. This is for all the women who are watching. This is for all the women who may watch this later. Y'all stop that bring back up syndrome. If you said to any male, this, that, the third, or whatever, he heard you. And like Sean said, and like Talon is addressed, and I'm addressing it, chances are we're working on whatever it is you asked us to work on and or change. We're doing that. If you keep reminding us, as Talon said, we are prone to not want to hit you, but a shaking may come out of it along those lines. Because I can't take you reiterating something that I've already explained to you. I heard you. I recently had to, say this to quite a few people, including my mom. And that's why I'm saying this, because I know Sean said his mom's in the background. If I say I heard you, it means I'm working on it. That does not give you then the right to go, well, you're not working on it fast enough. That wasn't what you said. You said, this is what I'm concerned about. And I said, I heard you and I'm working on it. You can't tell me how fast to work. Because as I just explained a little while ago, I got a million things on my plate, not just the one thing that you're so concerned about. So let me do and go through my process. And that really should be for everybody. We got to learn how to give each other grace. I said this before. One of my cousins said that to me recently, and it made so much sense. She was like, we don't give each other grace. And we got to do a better job, y'all, of giving each other grace, because the mere fact that in the moment your thing is so, crazy, and that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's your situation. I got
Listen, on behalf of all the women, 90% of them are going to tell you guys, get over it, man up.
Yeah.
Who, you know what I'm saying? Whoever made that phrase.
Yeah.
First of all, that phrase was made for us, and women jacked.
Yeah.
They jacked it. That wasn't made for them. That was a bunch of guys hanging around playing ball. Man up. Actually, we went from zone defense to man defense, and that's where the phrase man up came from. And women took it and read every little thing they thought you was underachieving, underperforming, lack of whatever. They'll tell you, man up. Or if you crying over something or whatever the case may be. Ladies, we are human. We have feelings as well. Words definitely matter. And when you let them come out, they can't come back in. Here's the question of the day for you two guys. Question of the day for you two guys is this. You hear this phrase all the time. Forgive and forget. Is that possible? Because in my mind, to me, I say no. I say 50-50. I say I could forgive you, but I'm never going to forget it. Not in my own mind, like maybe down the line with dementia or Alzheimer's, God forbid. But like in my own mind, can I possibly really just forget about it? Like it never happened. It's like that toothpaste in the tube. You can't put it back. I can't unsee it. I can't unlive through it. Can you do it, Sean?
Listen. I'm not gonna forget it. I'm not gonna forget. That's impossible. I can forgive you if I say to you, because here's the true definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is this. For an example, I forgive you. It means I'm never gonna bring this thing up again. If you don't do it, I'm never gonna bring this up again. You did what you did. I said I forgive you. You won't hear it from me ever again. That's the true definition of it. My whole thing is this.
Hold on, Sean, what's
thing is this.
I said what I said.
Right. Right. Now, am I going to forget? No, I'm not going to forget that you had an affair with this guy. Let's go there. We had an affair with this guy, and I said, okay, I forgive you. You did this, and I'm never going to bring it up. I'm man enough to say that. So that's what that means to me. I'm not going to forget. I'm sorry, I can't. That's embedded in my brain. I'm not going to forget, but I'm not, as a man, going to use that against you every 5 minutes like you would do to me. It goes back to what both of y'all were saying, because I was about to slam my head against my mother's china cabinet that she's had since 1974. Look at the look, 74 she had to think.
Hold up, 1974. Wasn't that the year you did cocaine with her? What?
Yeah, no doubt. There's still some residue cocaine in this thing. New York King, you talked about that playbook from back in the day from auntie and grandmother. How dare you bring that up today? Because that's alternate reality. These women today will dissect that book to deem it irrelevant. And then Amir Silly, you have the nerve enough to tell a woman no? Oh my God, no, no. Us tell women no? That's World War III. It's insane to me. So sometimes you break everything down like you guys have to this most simplest form, and then it gets diluted and it gets transferred into something that it really isn't anymore. You're right, because of social media.
Yes.
It's really blindsided us to all type of reality, because like Amir Silly will always say throughout these shows we do, always talk to the elders. You can't even talk to the elders no more. The elders don't even want to give up information no more. It's too much. Again, women talking about that it's a control situation. I think it's a control. It's one of the ways that they can control and manipulate us as men. And men, you're right. We got to stand up. That word no. When you said no, Amir Silly, it was almost like an epiphany. Like it just opened up my brain, because sometimes it's okay to tell a woman no, regardless of what the emotional baggage that they have that's going through their brain. New York King, you're right. What happened to that old playbook?
No, it's in the garbage, bro. It's in the garbage. Amir, forgive and forget.
Forgive and forget. You know, it's funny. I used to be of the mind frame and mindset that I could do both. True story. I used to be of that mind frame and mindset. But recently, some things happened, and I realized not only is that a dumb saying, and I'm not sure in what context it was. No, because you know, you think about stuff. At some point, it was used in a context that was supposed to be, you know, powerful and have impact. But as you look at it, and this probably goes to, you know, what we're all saying, and I always say this now, a lot of times there is programming that we have or had that we need to either upgrade or delete, because it doesn't apply in this current format of what the world looks like. You know, you mentioned earlier, you know, and this was a quick we when we opened up, you like you said, I had something to deal with my mom, and like Sean said, he's, you know, there with his mom in the background. And this is a true story. I was in the hospital and I was dealing with something with my mom, and she made mention of something that I didn't agree with. And, you know, she took a little offense to it, and she was like, well, you know, what do you mean? I said, Ma, I love you. You're gonna be 86 this year. And sometimes you reiterate or say things that might have been applicable in 1950, might have been applicable in 1960.
Right.
Well, we're in 2024, Ma. And to be fair, that's not applicable now because of the dynamics of the way the world is. It isn't because what you're saying is wrong or right. It's just we're in a different headspace. The kids think differently, they move differently, and you get frustrated by that because you're used to what you knew as how we communicate. When we look at the world again as a whole, we're fortunate enough, the three men sitting on this dais today, or sitting here on this Zoom, to say we got at least 5 decades or so under our belts. In those 5 decades, think about each one of those eras: 60s, 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and now we got 2010. We just started in 2020. I recently saw a woman driving a Hummer. When the last time I was in Vegas, I saw a woman driving a Hummer. Y'all remember when Hummers was the ride? Remember that in the late 80s? Everybody had a Hummer. Yeah. I hadn't seen one of those in so long. I didn't know what to think. I was like, they still driving those? Like, with all this problem and people talking about gas and this, and she was chilling. But I was like, wow. Everything is perspective. And I think for so many of us, to the point that you just made specifically, Sean, and Talon made this earlier, social media has jaded so much of what we see, believe, and understand. Because, to be fair, the promotion of the foolishness and nonsense is what gets the most play on your algorithm. The interesting thing about that is, if you pay attention, though, in between the foolishness and the buffoonery and the craziness, there are beautiful jewels being dropped by all kind of amazing people who don't subscribe to that and who have the counter to it. And we don't do enough of talking about that and sharing that information. We will quickly repost the idiocy, but we'll see something that's powerful and resonates with us that really makes sense. And we kind of we might drip that on one person.
Yeah.
But we won't hit it the same way we would something that's crazy. And because of that, I think to both your points, it's shaping the narrative now so much for this newer generation in a way that's scary, because sometimes I can't even, like, I gotta take so many breaks from social media now. It's not even funny. Like, I don't get on anything. I just look for a hot second. I'll be like, all right, let me get out of here. People are here going crazy. Like, they be really saying some reckless stuff. Like, who
It's out of
authorized
control.
this? Like, what y'all doing?
It's out of control, and unfortunately, it's going to get worse, because the next level up is this AI stuff. So it's going to get worse. So my thing is, the playbook is everything, ladies. And why are we saying this? Why are we spending this hour talking directly to you like this? Because we love your ass. We love our sisters, man, and we want to be with our sisters. We want to be that guy to be with our sisters. Like, but I understand now all this alternative shit, because if you gotta make a choice of being with your sister, sticking with a black one, whatever your thing is, versus your peace and tranquility,
Yeah.
to me, you're gonna lose all day.
Yes. Yes.
We go through this right now. Like, the biggest sacrifice, being a comedian, a full-time real comedian, to be out here in these streets and these cities and states and countries, is exactly that. It's a sacrifice, because you're away from your loved ones a lot.
Yeah.
So when a woman comes into your life, and chick, you need to understand that, and you need to go hand in hand with my first bitch, which is the job.
Yeah.
If you meet the job and y'all go hand in hand, we happily ever after. But if you come in and you're trying to uproot or outdo the first bitch, the job,
Yeah.
you're gonna lose that all day, because the job provides my peace of mind.
Yes.
The job brings me and sets me up for the tranquility that I need in my life to sustain something simple like sanity.
Yeah.
So we want to be with you guys. We want to pick you guys and all that stuff. But you got to be reasonable, respectful, and more importantly, super realistic. You don't live on Instagram. I'm tired of people thinking, look at your numbers on Instagram. Oh, look, it's 800,000. They don't fucking know you.
Yeah.
They just
Right.
on there clicking shit.
Yeah.
And if your fucking life was on the line, they not coming to the rescue.
Thank
Yes.
you.
It's that
Yes.
immediate 10 motherfuckers that know you, that got a reason to care for you and love you, or have a kid by you, or you daddy or mommy or whatever. These things are the real things. We're so blending and drifting away from reality. We're paying a heavy price. And ladies, you're paying the biggest price. And I'm going to say that respectfully, because when you look at the numbers, and it's 21 to, depending on where you are in this world, it's 21 to 25 to 1. Those are the numbers, female to male ratio.
Yes.
You're already at a deficit, ladies.
Yes.
You're not, I tell all the time, nigga, I got 25 picks for me.
Yeah.
And you factor in the gay dudes that don't want no pussy. Then you factor in niggas that's locked up, can't get man. And the guys that died early, I got about 40 bitches, yo.
That's, yo.
Give me mine.
Give me mine. You know what's so crazy about that statement, and I'll say this, and this is probably might be one of the realest things I ever say, on this platform, any platform. Not only is Talent absolutely right about those numbers, But here's something else, and this is hard for a lot of people to swallow and take in. Not only because those numbers are what they are, the chances of you sharing, because whatever, that's, if you want to put it that way, because some of y'all get all, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sharing. First of all, you selfish son of a guns, stop being selfish. Y'all here being selfish like a mom. You know that you got a good dude. You know that the dude is a provider. He's a great conversationalist. He looks like something. He takes care of himself. He takes care of his responsibilities and all these kinds of things. And that's just who and what he is. I've said this to a few females who I've had conversations with lately, because cats such as these two gentlemen, my boy Sean Harvey and the great talent, they are personalities who are the same personality no matter where you see them and no matter where they go. But here's what I'll tell you about both of those gentlemen, at least from what I've seen being around them all the years I have. They don't have an off button. So you can't ask them to go out in the world and put something in their neck or something on the back of their knee and turn off the charm, turn off the swag, turn off who they are. We can't do that. And I hate that women in particular, that's something that y'all think we do or we can do. Well, why can't you go out and be, I am who I, first of all, you met me like this. Let's be real. You met me like this. There's no knock to anybody, but you met me like this. This is how you became enamored with me. So the fact that you think that there's some way for me to turn this off if and when I get in the real world, I think is amazingly selfish and silly. Yes. But with that being said, then to what Talent just said, learn how to be at peace. Learn how to say to yourself, you know what? I'm pretty sure and or confident that this man is okay. He's doing what he needs to do for his sanity and for the betterment of our situation if you're in a situation. And then the last thing I'll add to that is this. Stop being a pain, because being a pain does nothing but perpetuate the same thing that you're fighting so hard against. And by virtue of the fact that you're putting that energy in the universe, we chilling. But you keep saying, I know somebody's talking to Sean. I know some woman is up in Talent's face. You're saying that. I want you to, something that Talent just said a little while ago. Words not only hurt, but they also have power. So the more you put that in the universe, you're setting yourself up for failure. It ain't him, it's you. Yes. So watch how you talk to yourself and watch what you tell the universe, because the universe is listening and it most certainly is bringing it.
Well, let me say this in closing, ladies, especially ladies. Thank you to Sean Harvey. Thank you to Amir Sealy, your boy Talent. In closing, I know our voices raise up and down. I don't want you to take it the wrong way, but I thought it needed to be out there, needed to be heard. This episode is one of the episodes that all this time we've been on the show, we've never touched on this like this. Words matter. Men are human. They have feelings. Think about that the next time you're dealing with your guy, even with your son, even with your father, whoever it is, any man that's important in your life. Think about what you say when you say it, because you can't take it back. It can't be unheard. And I know y'all like to say, get over it. And y'all like to say, oh, but I was mad that thing and all that. All of that means nothing once you say and do what you do. You can't take it back. This has been Motivation Monday. We love you, ladies. Don't get it twisted. All of this is in love. Hopefully bouncing on the wall and somebody heard us. All right. Prophet Pete, take us out. Thank you very much. Motivation Monday, y'all. Sean Harvey and Mia Silly. Bam! Talent. Let's go.
Yep.